welcome back to the Inner Alchemist TV. In today's video, we are going to be doing a collective tarot reading of the love and marriage Huntsville sector. Listen, these readings are going to include everything from content creators to cast members on the show, but I'm not going to say who or what the reading is about. It's a collective reading, so you guys are welcome to put the pieces together for yourselves and to see what you think may apply. I'm just going in blind, picking up pretty much where I left off, right? And I wanted to try something different as usual, right? That Gemini in me just keeps going and going. So before we get started, please like this video. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel and also that you have your notification bells on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. My overall energy for this spread came in as the 7 of Wands. So this is about a person, right? Remember, we don't know who this person is. This is a mystery reading. And this is about somebody who finally worked their way up to the top and got themselves into like a leadership position. But it's almost like as soon as they got up there, then people started challenging them and started testing their nuts. And I feel like a lot of these obstacles were created by the divine, right? It's all by divine design. I mean, of course, unless, people do things with nefarious intents, I don't want to discount that. But for the most part, when you overcome challenges and get to the top of your game or get to where you imagine you would be, there's always going to be people there trying to pull you down. And this 7 of Wands is saying that you worked very hard to get where you at, and it's people waiting to throw a knife in your back for whatever reason. I think this challenges you to be courageous, for one, and to also be persistent, even when you're going through ups and downs, even when people are testing you and doing everything they can to knock you off the tid. You're going to have to stand for something. This is not the time to fall back like maybe you were doing when you were floating in the middle. But it's time for you to stand up and, what they say, stand on business about whatever it is that you believe. Whatever it is your idea is about a situation, about a person, place, or thing. There's room for you in this conversation. I feel like there's a lot of competition regarding opposing views. And this competition is mainly happening verbally. Definitely on the internet, because we have the 7 of Wands and the 8 of Wands. I'm also showing that people are sending emails, maybe behind the scenes, about disapproving of you. But at the same time, one of their criticisms is that you seem like you're straddling the fence and they don't know what side you're on. So yeah, they're talking about you. But at the same time, you kind of have the superior advantage over the people that are doing the talking because you worked your way into the position that you're in. Now, maybe there's a fake it till you make it kind of motif or feeling about this, because I feel that there's still a need to develop your confidence. And maybe you getting to the top or being the face of something was a little bit premature than what you asked for. But the situation, the rivalry, the adversity, people trying to tear you down, it's a part of the test. The confrontation is a part of what is supposed to be meant to build your confidence. There are people who thrive in hatred and negativity, and then there are some people who are extra sensitive like myself who just don't. However, adverse situations, battles, whether in the ethers or in real life and spirituality, warfare, psychologically and otherwise, really build you up in ways that you wouldn't even imagine. Where it makes it a choice whether or not you rise to an occasion and how you do so. You need to develop confidence in yourself, and that confidence is only going to come from handling the business, standing on business, and confronting these rivalries and competitions and confrontations and all of that with persistence, but with restraint at the same time. You got to find that delicate balance. You're not supposed to be going all in, all off the edge of a cliff and being hella wild, because believe it or not, the ones who do the most are insecure as well as the ones who do nothing at all. That's why it's about finding that balance. So that's the overall energy for the spread. I know that there's a battle, a confrontation, something's going on. So the reading is opening up with the 8 of Wands, which is upright, clarified by the 7 of Pentacles. We got 2 sevens right there, which is in reverse. So I know that somebody is getting anxiety about all this shit that's going on. Maybe the stress. Somebody has anxiety about an email, a receipt, some type of information that's coming out. Like I said, I feel like it's involved in like some type of email, and somebody's concerned that it's about to hit the fan. Most definitely. And I feel like there's maybe like an adrenaline rush associated with what they're going to do to rise to the occasion or handle the situation should they be betrayed in this particular way that looks like it wants to come out. But everything is like moving too fast. You know what I mean? Definitely. Sometimes the 8 of Wands is about traveling by airplane. So I don't know if somebody's maybe flying somewhere. It could be something like that as well. But whatever it is, I feel like people are kind of moving too fast. And that may be a problem because, again, you got, like I said, you got mistakes you done made. You done over-talked yourself with this 8 of Wands. Said too much too soon, which could also be a problem. Now, that's clarified by the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. And like I said, that's anxiety and someone being afraid that they're going to lose. Maybe somebody's flying. I don't know. It looks like they're flying maybe to see somebody or talk to somebody because they're hoping for some type of victory. They're hoping for some type of win with this Chariot card. I don't know. For some reason, I'm getting catching a flight. I did another reading not too long ago. If anybody's concerned about a restraining order, the reading showed that there was something falsified in the restraining order and that it was going to be, and it was a temporary restraining order, but it was going to be dismissed or not allowed to progress into something permanent because of something that was falsified or some type of forgery on a document. Now, that reading also hinted that there was some traveling back and forth to a courthouse. I don't know if this is by airplane or if this is by car or bus with this 8 of Wands and this Chariot card. But that looks like travel to me. Somebody's being impatient. And I think that impatience is the reason why it's saying with that 7 of Wands to restrain yourself. Like I said, overdoing something is also a sign of insecurity and does not necessarily mean that you have a lot of bravado or that you're the baddest one on the block. It's often to cover up some weakness or vulnerability. So you go too hard and then you move too fast and then you trip all over your own feet and then you start making mistakes and not covering your foot tracks like was done in a falsified document on a court paper or in an email that could be turned around and used as some type of receipt. There's a man involved as well, a gay man. He's in the middle of something. Somebody feels like people are out to get them. Maybe they have some type of idea for a business venture, a product, or some type of collaboration. And they feel like somebody stole their idea or copied off of them. And I'm showing that is really at the underlying center of a lot of what's going on. If somebody has kind of like a resentment for something that was taken from them, but it's looking like more like an intellectual property than an actual property. And so because you think that people are copying off of you or stealing your ideas or something, you became very guarded and untrusting. Whoever resonates with this or whoever you guys think this is about. And I feel like this initial stealing of the ideas or copying, I feel like it breeded some type of like distrust and even paranoia with the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. paranoia about losing your position, going with this Seven of Wands and talking about somebody working their way to the top in a leadership position, but having people to come after them after they reach that leadership position. This is part of that as well. And feeling like somebody may have copied off of you, stole your idea, and feel like that challenged you as a leader or challenged your harvest or your ability to make money. And it's true. Somebody may have put, I don't want to say a hex or black magic, because I think those conversations and topics are thrown around, but I don't think people do their due diligence to speak on things like that. But I do have to say that somebody has tried to put a blockage on somebody's money or growth. Most definitely. And they did that using, like I said, supernatural means. Even if they flew to see a witch practitioner or a soothsayer. But again, like, listen, like I put on a community wall, it's Mercury retrograde. This is a great time to do your return to senders. Not because you're wishing ill on somebody else, but people need to inhabit their own energy. And what you wish for others, you need to be willing to reside in. But you have to take your own justice. Faith without works is dead. So send that shit back. Block demonic attacks. Block negative energy. Block, send the blockages on your money. Send it right back. Right? Because not only that, I'm seeing somebody is drained. Somebody is drained by the talking. Somebody is drained by all this shit that's going on the internet. Just yapping and yapping and yapping. And I feel like somebody's just, it's to the point of exhaustion at this point. Somebody's not being able to sleep. Somebody feels like despite how much work they put in, they not getting the recognition they deserve. They not reaping the benefits of what they have done. Nobody has their back. Nothing's growing. They feel like other people were lazy in how they did what they did. And so their only talent was in taking what other people had. But instead of realizing that, like Jesus said, if they try to take your shirt, give them your coat. Because that is the reality of the situation. It's only two ways to handle things when people are stealing from you. Either you continue to give and let them continue to steal and just make them hard to keep up. That's definitely one way to do that. Or you starve them out. But if you starve them, you starve yourself, because you remove your energy, which stops your own money, etc., etc. But it's up to you what it's worth. But holding energy or holding pressure or holding an attitude over something that you can't control or choose not to control in an effective way is running you out. Definitely running you out. Somebody's fucking tired. Somebody's definitely tired. So if you're talking about wearing somebody out, somebody's wore something out. Like I said, there's a gay man in the mix. And there's some behind the scenes about an email that was sent, maybe an instigated conversation. It's possible this person is a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. But it looks like, I don't want to say there was no instigating, but it looks like maybe there was some taking sides because somebody that they care for was crossed in a certain way, or somebody that they care for was being attacked. And it looks like they organized some type of squad behind the scenes, or were at the crux of keeping some shit going behind the scenes. And the majority of this looks like it was happening in an email. But it didn't initially start as anything nefarious. It started as somebody trying to take up for or cover their friend or somebody that they love. Or maybe even somebody got drunk. It looks like this person has a problem with alcohol. So that's a possibility. I'm going to just put it that way. That's a possibility that somebody was, drunk texting and, spill some tea, spill some beans, something like that. Or it's on the verge of, something's on the verge of coming out that somebody said, something like that. Definitely. I feel like somebody's trying to distance themselves from a situation right now. The mind games, somebody got whooped in a fight, an intellectual fight, a battle, a manipulation, a battle of the words. Somebody got whooped. And they're just tired. Like I said, the whole thing has become exhausting. And they want to just call it quits and again get some space. However, it's giving me a vibe of wherever you go, there you are, because you keep going from place to place, taking the same emotional baggage with you. So really, you can't run. You're like running into yourself everywhere you go because you're taking all of the baggage with you. This is again giving me a vibe of somebody catching a flight. I'm sorry. With the Six of Swords and the Chariot card and the Eight of Wands, somebody catching a flight to somebody. Somebody is going to be in a city near you soon. I saw the Eight of Swords with the Hangman. The tarot does not predict death, but this definitely predicts a desire or an intention to hurt somebody. It could even be a fantasy. Somebody fantasizing about somebody getting hurt to the point of non-existing. Definitely, it's that serious for somebody. Ultimately, I feel that somebody wants to move away from all these problems, but they can't do it until they feel like they won. So that's why I think I see this Six of Swords, because there's a desire to get away from danger and to fall back and to get, refuge and safety. But then the Chariot is here saying, I want to win. I want to end this shit in a final way. I want the victory and I want the applause that comes with laying my ops to rest. It's not good enough for me to be protected, quote unquote. I want to see them hurt. You know what I mean? Now, these are all cards of travel. So some of you guys could just be traveling for the holidays. It could be that simple too, without it being something deep. If I were doing a love reading, I would say that there was a couple who was, trying to get to each other. It's a long distance relationship and somebody wants to come and see each other. If I was reading a love relationship. So for those of you guys in love, if you're in a long distance relationship and you're wondering if somebody loves you, they love you. This looks like it's overseas though. Overseas, definitely a plane ride away, but somebody loves you. Somebody loves you. Somebody cares about you for sure. But at the same time, I'm also feeling that somebody's covert activities, like I said, behind the scenes emails are about to be dropped or revealed. Because there's some secret shit, there's some covert activities taking place, but somebody's about to snitch. Or should I say drop the receipts. But I think it's maybe it's like a mic drop, because there's like an intention to disconnect or fall back from a situation. But again, wanting that victory, wanting that last word, wanting to go out as the person who won this shit at the same time. You know what I mean? It's not as simple as saying, it's over. No. Yeah, for surely. There's also, there's an apology here that's going to be given to a gay male. I don't know. There's a gay content creator. Obviously, there's gay content creators. I don't know which one. Like I said, it could be Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. But somebody wants to apologize to you. Maybe they accused you or lied on you or said that you were stirring up some shit or that you were doing something in the background that you weren't doing. Maybe there was an attempt to set you up. But somebody wants to apologize and wants to extend an olive branch for lying on you. I have Virgo energy here as well as Capricorn energy. So it could be a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Virgo, or Capricorn are the signs involved for the gay male. Yeah, some lies were told. Somebody wants to apologize for lying on you if you're the gay male. They somehow counted you as an adversary or thought you was an op or an enemy or thought you was doing something that maybe you wasn't doing. They wanted to beat the narrative to the punch and they lied on you. But this lying happened behind the scenes through email. So maybe they were trying to mobilize people. Oh yeah, the Chariot card here, that could be mobilizing somebody. mobilizing people to turn against you or to try to fight you or to switch the narrative. But this person may have been supposed to be a friend, because the Page of Cups is here and the King of Cups is here. So that lets me know that that relationship was soft at some point, but maybe business got in the way of it, or maybe you went on about your business, or you started cultivating some other business and you fading away from the scene. Somebody used your name when you weren't around, maybe thinking you wouldn't find out or you wouldn't be hitting the scene back, and that you were just like a throwaway type of name. For surely. But whatever it is, it looks like a friend who was like working against your best interest. And I don't know, I feel like they used your name to do some horrible shit, or did some horrible shit in your name, thinking that you were gone and that it wouldn't matter. An environment where they're supposed to hold their nuts, but to feel vulnerable enough to want a bitch dead, you know what I mean? That fucks with you in a way, because it's kind of like a perverted thought that you have, and it pulls on those sexual taboos and that inner darkness that you harbor, that you carry, that you repress, because you're already maybe in a taboo of being a homosexual. You know what I mean? So when you succumb to things like darker thoughts, it fucks with you. It fucks with your pride, because a lot of your pride is behind being, able. But really, you're just masking vulnerabilities. Yeah. Now, I'm also showing that whoever this male is, you try to play some type of practical joke, troll somebody, that shit backfired. Now you're nervous. Or you was just being mischievous, and this shit got took all out the way and caused pandemonium and chaos. And you invited that shit because you was trying to be funny. For surely. But at the same time, I feel that this trying to be funny, you know how they say every joke has a tinge of truth to it? It looks like this tinge of funny, or this joke that you did, you was trying to inflict some pain, but you wasn't trying to come across as a person who inflicts pain. But again, that's that shadow side, right? That's a person who's trying to hide behind the fact that, they should be above that, or they shouldn't do that because they're a man, but they still harbor those same proclivities. And so they hide it through passive aggression, but really they trying to hurt somebody's feelings. But like I said, it's too taboo for them to stand in it. For sure. Somebody's laughing at everybody else, but don't want nobody laughing at them. And again, like I said, playing it off, acting jovial about something, but really feeling dark about it, and not really wanting to say that, or not really wanting to come forward with how you feel about something, but wanting somebody to hurt, and so you do it through like a covert means. It's a lot going on behind the scenes. Like I said, 8 of Wands, it looks like it's internet email type deal, but it could just be internet chats, things like that. This reading is kind of closing out with this Hermit card. Well, this Hermit card is in the hopes and fears, I'll put it that way. And what that shows me is that somebody within the situation has at least somebody has gotten here from not wanting to be alone and searching for a community or family, whether they resonate with these people or not. The toxicity of it all, or the fact, or the non-friendship of it all, was better than them being alone. Maybe they're having a problem with aging, and they're getting into things and being meddlesome because of not wanting to be alone, or not being able to socialize. If somebody's becoming reclusive to where this is their only source of entertainment or friendship or camaraderie. But at the same time, whoever this is has also suffered betrayals at the hands of a content creator or somebody that they believed in, or that it teaches them something, or maybe is saying that they are psychologists, or that, they're some type of guru or professional at something, and it turns out they're false or something like that, and they betrayed you. The Hermit card is somebody that's kind of up there in position, and that's why I feel like it's a content creator. And so if you are a content creator, there's somebody within your circle of viewership or whatever you want to call it who feels betrayed by you, or who feels like you aren't who you say you are, and they may be set out to prove that, because they put some maybe type of trust in you or faith in you. You could be a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces with this Queen of Cups here. They may be accusing you of being manipulative or manipulating people's emotions. They think that they're running around telling everybody that you are acting like you have some type of expertise, and you don't. They're saying that you're not credentialed. But I feel like they're doing this because they saw something in you that didn't measure up to whatever it is they believed in you at first. And so every chance they get in chats and comments and conversations behind the scenes, they're telling everybody that you are not who you say you are, and that you are not an expert. So yeah, you cross somebody. And I think that you maybe not be, you trying to ignore it too with this Hermit in reverse. I feel like you're trying to ignore it and act like you don't see this person doing this. And it's probably because you don't have an answer to how that person is coming. So you're trying to act like you don't see it. There is something that you're hiding. There's something that you're being discreet about. I won't say deceptive, but you are disguising maybe more nefarious parts of your personality. So while that person may not be spot on, they're not all the way off either. Yeah, definitely. So you kind of ignore it. Maybe there's reports of this person and you just, try to turn the blind eye to it because you don't want to be forced to answer to it because you have no answer. Like I said, I feel like this is a person who's getting older, maybe even aging, or, feeling like they're in a midlife crisis for whatever reason because they feel internally lonely, and they're using this, pseudo relationship or platform that we call YouTube to make a life for themselves. But really, they're just ignoring greater things that are going on in life, and instead exercising a part of themselves that leans towards the immature, or acting like they're in their second childhood. You know what I mean? There's a feeling of being trapped here, and maybe even bitter. Somebody is overcome with bitterness over the wedge that they put themselves in, from trying to avoid being alone with their own self, or their own thoughts, or their own emotions, or their own feelings. And now they're stuck with everything but themselves, and it's draining. The Queen of Cups is here, so I know that this person is maybe used to nurturing, but at the same time themselves feeling in need of being nurtured, or feeling in need of being not rescued, but some of this shit is too much. Maybe they act more capable than what they are, but inside you're dealing with somebody who's very deeply emotional and affected by this shit. However, instead of leaning into the sensitivities and a loving and gracious kindness in an authentic way, not just putting it on as a mask, they may have used things like love, graciousness, and kindness to manipulate people instead. Maybe become a little self-indulgent with that devil nature here. And maybe even stop looking at things logically and had some type of emotional response to something they didn't understand, and went into a shadow side or dark side of their personalities to deal with it. But it was something they did on a whim, with a mood, but maybe got other people involved, keeping up drama really for their own security. Definitely. It looks like there's a woman here that's playing on the fact that people are gullible. The same person. Queen of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, even third decan Gemini, which is I think June 11th through the 20th or something like that. But someone definitely played into the fact that the majority of people are just gullible and use that to their advantage to emotionally manipulate. But yeah, so listen, that's the current energy of the sector. It's a huge puzzle, so y'all got to put the pieces, excuse me, where they belong. But yeah, that's what I got. For those of you guys who have been hitting me up about the Inner Alchemist, the store is back open. So you guys can go there and check out the products. Everything's pretty much the same. But I did add a spiritual intention oil. And this oil can be worn. This oil can be used on candles and diffusers. Or any which way you want to. In bath water, if you need that cleansing, you need that protection, or you need to manifest. These oils are super fast acting. So I've added that to the product line. Yeah, so you guys can check me out over there at the Inner Alchemist on Etsy. Don't forget to smash that like button, and I will see you guys on the next video.